on my way to Ellsworth, Iowa, to the company's headquarters. Shout out to BBS, Best Veterinary Solutions, Ellsworth, Iowa. That's my company that I work for. That's the company I work for. I definitely, been enjoying my time working with BBS. But yeah, I got a transfer order that I'm bringing from our Columbus, Georgia location and bringing it up to Ellsworth. And then I have to head to our other location in Washington, Indiana tomorrow to pick up a transfer to take back to Columbus. And that'll be the end of the week for me. That'll be it. So I normally do the same routes on a weekly basis. I haven't been to Indiana in a while, so of course, it'd be good to see my colleagues there, and just see how everybody's been doing. So yeah, definitely looking forward to heading to Indiana on tomorrow. Yesterday I got a comment from a new subscriber. So shout out to the new subscriber that asked me, was trucking really worth it? He had commented on one of my videos. It was to be or not to be an entrepreneur part 2. I got part 1 and part 2 out, so make sure you check those out. And those videos, like I said, once again, it's just coming from my perspective. You may have a difference of opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion, but this is just from what I've seen so far from being out here. But the question that was asked to me yesterday was, do I feel that trucking is still worth it? And I know the gentleman was saying that he was getting ready to get on with a mega carrier to get training, and then once he gets that training, he gets it out the way, he's gonna look to go to another company. And I replied to him and I told him, I said, for me, and this is just me, I can only speak for me, but for me, trucking was a game changer from where I was before, in my careers, in the mental health background and criminal justice background. Coming over to trucking was a complete game changer as far as how it changed my life. That's why all my episodes are called "How Trucking Saved My Life." It was very pivotal. It was a monumental moment in my life. So I'm forever grateful for it. But I replied back and I told him it was a game changer, and just also letting them know, that if you decide to go through a mega carrier to get your training, for your CDL, that they may require you to drive for them for an extended period, sometimes a year. I don't think it's no less than a year. I know when I was looking at one point earlier in 2022, around February, I was looking to get training done at Georgia Driving Academy down in Columbus, and they had a partnership with a company called Stevens Transport, and they would have took care of your school for you and everything. But the only thing about it is, I believe you would have had to drive for them for 12 to 15 months, if I'm not mistaken. So you would have had to do it. You're not doing less than a year. Some companies make you even do longer than that, but you're not doing less than a year. So I told the gentleman also when I in the comment, that I got my CDL through the tech school down in Georgia, down in South Georgia Technical College, in Americus, Georgia. So I was able to go through there, and they basically covered everything. So I just told them, look and see if the tech schools in whatever state that you're in have that option. Because if they have that option, that's the better route to go. Then at that point, you own your CDL outright. Like you're not obligated to work for a company for X amount of time. Like when I graduated from South Georgia Tech, I got that CDL, and that was it. Like I was a free agent. I could apply for any company. So that's just the advice that I gave from somebody who is still freshly new to driving. I've only been driving for 9 months now. But I came on it, like I said, so that right there, that dialogue that I had with that gentleman, it was just that one comment. It just, the word that really, got my wheels spinning when I told him, and I put it in capital letters, it was that it was a game changer, because it was. The money in trucking is just different. I'll just say, for me, that I've almost tripled my salary, from the moment I got in trucking back in March. I've almost tripled my salary for what I was making when I was working for the state for all those years, with 2 degrees as well. But like I said before, in previous videos, I believe that I could have, climbed the ladder, but for me, I definitely was experiencing burnout. And when you're working for the state, for state agencies, man, I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of politics that you have to play, and I just really wasn't able to. I wasn't gonna say able. I wasn't willing to do it at all. So yeah, I had to make a transition, and I just didn't feel fulfilled as well either. I'm like, all right, I got 2 girls. I was married at the time. I was broke as ever, broke mentally and financially, and I'm like, all right, I gotta make a way. I can't keep running this rat race. So of course, here I am now. But me getting my CDL was a game changer, and the money, it came fast, and it continues to come fast. But here's the difference. I'm much more smarter with my money than I've ever been before. I realize that my money isn't really my money. Lena, why did you say that? Because I owe people. I have previous debts, that I have to fulfill. The name of the game for me right about now is pay what you owe. I took out stupid loans, payday loans and stuff like that. Now one of those loans is paid off. I just paid it off a few months. I paid it off back in August, so thank God that that's out the way. But I also got, credit cards that I maxed out. A stupid timeshare from 2015 that I got that I ain't have no business getting. So, I did a lot of foolish stuff, man. A lot of foolish stuff. And I thank God, man, that I'm in position to not only pay those things off faster, but also, have money to save as well. Like, I have money that's saved up. It's like, man, I've never had this much money or seen this type of money before. So it's to the point for me, it's like, all right, cool. I know it's there, but I still have that mindset. It's like, man, it's not really your money, because you owe people, So as long as I owe somebody. like, hey, this doesn't belong to me. Like, I have to take care of, my financial responsibility before I even, start wanting to live how it is that I choose to live. And I want to shout out Anton Daniels, and I want to shout out Chasing Andrew Jackson. Chasing Andrew Jackson, he's a truck driver himself. He's the owner operator at that, owns 3 trucks. And then, Anton Daniels, man, what can we say about Anton, man? He has a lot of wisdom, man. He has a lot of knowledge, man. Like, so there's no words to really describe, Anton Daniels. But both of these gentlemen made videos that I want to dissect, and just talk a little bit about, and how I, approach things, just overall. I've already developed this mindset, but, just listening to these 2 gentlemen, watching their content, definitely helps you put things into much more perspective. So I watched a video that Anton Daniels had a few days ago when he was breaking down the video where a lady was talking about why you shouldn't listen to rich people, when it comes to getting out of debt. To each his own. But the main thing, Anton made a lot of great points in that video. But the main thing that he said that really, drove it home with me was lifestyle. A lot of people are in debt or in financial ruins because of the lifestyle that they live. You got people that's making 6 figures that are still living paycheck to paycheck. You got people that are millionaires that are still living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because they don't have a healthy respect for money. You don't really know money. You don't understand money like you should. And like I said, and there's no excuse for it now because the information is out there on what you need to be doing, in order to maintain in this economy that we're in. We're clearly in inflation, and we're clearly in a recession, whether they want to admit it or not. That's just the state that we're in. So, Anton really, he talks about that all the time, lifestyle. He talks about it all the time as far as paying down your debt. Paying down your debt. That's the key. And I realized that, you can't do anything with debt. You're not going to be able to maneuver at all. You're going to always be at the bottom. As long as you have large amounts of debt, and you're not going to get approved for that house that you want, but even if you're able to get approved for the house that you want, should you get that house? Oh, I got approved for this much. Okay, that's great. Can you afford the monthly payments? And we see where the housing market is at. And if you can't afford those payments, live below your means. Live below your means. I drive a 2005 GMC Yukon, paint chipped off the side of the truck. Oh, it's an older vehicle, clearly. It's almost 20 years old, but it's paid for. The way my mind operates now is, if I can't pay it straight cash, I'm going to leave it where it's at. Because a car note, what is that? That's a whole nother bill that I have to pay for X amount of years. And it's not going to appreciate, it's going to depreciate. So me being me, I'm the type that I will go and I'll go in somebody's yard and I'll buy a car or a truck. That's what I'm really looking for, a truck anyway. You know, and pay it cash. But what didn't I accumulate? I didn't accumulate any new debt. And that's the thing about trucking. And that's the one thing about trucking and truckers in general that I've seen a lot. And I've even heard stories. I've had conversations with guys who are truckers. And they admitted, like, hey man, I made a lot of bad mistakes. Because the more money I made, the more money I spent on buying stuff that, shoot, I wasn't even able to use because I'm on the road. Or I'm buying this, or I'm taking care of this for this family member. And I'm just over my head. And a lot of those guys, you know, had to sell off their equipment and start back working with a company because, you know, the income ratio was just ridiculous. So just because you make all this money in trucking, and like I said, truckers make great money. Like, you know, of course, you know, it depends on the company, and, you know, it depends on, you know, on if you're really willing to run. I mean, there's so many factors as far as trucking is concerned. But, you know, truckers definitely can make great money. But it's all about, you know, what you're doing with your money. And if you're out there just blowing your money, you know, just because, hey man, it's in my bank account, I see it, I want something, I buy it, and you're gonna always be running that rat race, man. You're gonna always be on that hamster wheel, man. You're gonna always be a slave to debt. So truckers truckers make great money. You know, some do, some don't, just depending on the company. But, you know, the same principles are always there. You know, don't overwhelm yourself with large amounts of debt, you know, to the point where, you know, there's no way out. And not to say there's not a way out, it's just gonna be rough sledding for you. So I would definitely say, you know, when it comes to trucking, you definitely have to be careful because the money does come fast, you know. And just because it's there doesn't mean that necessarily you have to just go out and just, you know, spend. Just because you know that, all right, I'm gonna be getting paid again. All right, cool, but things change, circumstances change. That company that you may have been driving for as an owner-operator, or the company that you may have been driving for as a company driver, that company may go under. And now you don't have anything put back because you were undisciplined with your money. You didn't have a healthy respect for money. And it's the same in all professions across the board. You know, you have to be able to save money. You have to be able to, you know, if you owe people, man, like, just pay it. Just pay it. Just pay it. Now, when it comes to chasing Andrew Jackson, and shout out to chasing Andrew Jackson, like I said, he's another content creator. Definitely love his work as well. I stumbled across chasing Andrew Jackson, from Pocket Watch with JT's page when they was talking about, you know, when they had the video about the trucking guru. And even watching Andrew Jackson's page, you know, as well, just hearing him talk about, you know, he has 3 trucks. He has 3 trucks that he, you know, they're all 3 used trucks, but he owns them outright. He put money into his trucks, and they're running. All of them run. I don't know the years of his trucks, but he put the money into his trucks. And he's out here killing it. He's crushing it. He just showed the video last night, you know, him getting to the money at Amazon. And he's been in the industry for a while as well. You know, but he drops a lot of nuggets as well, you know. Even the video that he had a few days ago when he's talking about people getting the lease to purchase program, and they in these prices, like in these trucks, they're leasing them out for $200,000 and $300,000, and you gotta do this for X amount of years, like to pay the truck off. Just saying, like a lot of these guys, they don't really break even, or they pay more than what the truck is really worth anyway. So once again, you're running that rat race. You're running that rat race. You don't want the used truck that's in the early 2000s or the 90s, but more so like the early 2000s and stuff. You want the brand new shiny toy. Well, can you really afford the brand new shiny toy? And one thing about trucking is the industry is volatile. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. But when it's bad, do you have the means to survive? Do you have the means to survive? And not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people in this trucking industry, have the means to survive. A lot of truck drivers are one paycheck away from it all being over. Why? Because you didn't save, you didn't put back, you didn't invest. You look out in your yard and you got toys everywhere. You got all type of cars. You in this big house. But you on the road majority than you're at home. So do you have truckers that are living paycheck to paycheck? Absolutely you do. I can honestly say for me that since I started driving, I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Before I started driving, like I said, of course, I did probation for the state of Georgia, and I also did part-time law enforcement in Atlanta, so that somewhat gave me a cushion. But even with the money that I made, I had to pay what I owed. I had debt collectors ready to take me to court for old debt that I had to pay. Couldn't cry about it. I had to make things happen. And it worked for the time being until it just stopped working, and then that's when I transitioned over to trucking. And that's what I said before, like, it saved my life altogether. Like I said, I have not lived paycheck to paycheck, since I started driving. And like I said, I've only been driving for 9 months now, so my year is, I reach a full year in March. So yeah, trucking has definitely been great for me. Like I said, it's definitely one of those. It's one of those professions that I would say that it's not for everybody. Trucking is not for everybody. Yeah, you gotta be willing and ready to be away from your loved ones. You gotta be willing to run. You gotta be out here. Like I said, so many people that got into the industry, during the pandemic, because, oh man, trucking is the way to go. And what happened? They made the money, but their lifestyle increased. Buying up everything and not cashing out. Not cashing out. A mortgage here, a car note there, car notes there. And when the rates went back the same, they were stuck. You still making good money, but you ain't making the $4 a mile that you were making before. And you over your head. So now what you got to do? You got to sell all that stuff. Sell all that stuff. So financial discipline is needed, period. It's needed, period. But definitely in trucking, because like I said, the money comes fast. The money comes fast, you know. And if you're a person that, you know, you don't have any financial discipline, you're not going to be in this industry for long. You're not going to be here at all, because it goes up and down, up and down. If you're still buying stuff, knowing that you got creditors on your behind, knowing that you still owe people, you're not going to make it in this industry. You're not going to make it. Pay what you owe. Pay what you owe. Decrease your lifestyle. You know, decrease your lifestyle for the time being. Nobody's saying that, you know, that you got to just, you know, live below your means forever. But the name of the game is sacrifice. Sometimes you got to do those things that you just don't want to do. Are you really willing to do it? Are you willing to sacrifice now to get to the end goal, to get to the end game? I had to realize that I was asking God to do a lot of things for me in the past, and He knew doggone well that I wasn't prepared for it. Lord, bless me with more money. Man, the money that I was making, God saw what I was doing with it. God saw what I was doing. Foolish stuff. No discipline. Wasn't paying back creditors or anything. You think He gonna bless you with something and you undisciplined, you ain't even doing what you're supposed to do, you know, with your funds? Man, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. So I had to dig that. I had to dig deep and become disciplined. Like I told y'all before, I told y'all I drive a 05 GMC Yukon, and I love my truck. Like I said, it's paid off. Would I like to get a up-to-date vehicle? Absolutely. But it doesn't align with where I am right now. It doesn't align with that. If I'm working on getting out of debt, why do I want to create more debt? It just don't make sense. So therefore, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. When I get myself in position to, you know, be able to cash out on a car that I want, and I'm gonna let y'all know, I just want the Chevy Impala. I like the Chevy Impalas. More so like the 2019 through 2021. They stopped making them, but it's a real comfortable car. I used to drive it as my state vehicle, so it's a real comfortable car. But when I'm able to get out of, you know, out of the debt that I'm in, like I said, you know, I don't have much consumer debt left, thank goodness. And that goes to show you, that's what I'm saying, like, trucking is a game changer for me, because the debt that I had, oh man, paid it off so quickly. I used to stress about money, man. My gosh, like, how I'm gonna pay this, I'm gonna pay that. Man, I got into trucking, got with BBS. The first thing I said, man, I'm getting out of debt. I'm getting out of debt. I'm taking X amount of dollars, and I'm like, boom, I'm paying this, boom, I'm paying that. Going without, like I said, as long as I got the basic necessities that I need, I ain't tripping on nothing else. Are you willing to do that? Whether you're in trucking or whatever industry that you're in, but you know, I'm more so talking specifically to the truckers, you know. Are you willing to put off certain things better overall financial standing. Are you willing to avoid that trip? Are you willing to avoid buying that car, buying the video game system, the video game, those shoes that you're gonna only be wearing one day out the week anyway, because you're on the road 7 to 10 days. So this money comes fast in this trucking industry. So the whole notion that there's no money in trucking, that's a lie. You got to look at people's lifestyle. Look at the person's lifestyle, and that'll tell you why they'll say there's no money in trucking. But if you tell them, hey man, take that car back, or sell that house and downsize, nah man, I can't do that. Well, continue to be broke. Continue to be broke. Gotta make some changes. But that's all I got. I'm continuing to focus on this road. I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments. Got any questions for me? Please feel free to ask me. But to all my truckers out there, let's just be better financially, man. Like I said, I know this money comes, and I know how quick it could go. And we get paid again, and it can go again. But let's be better financially with our money. We got families to take care of. It's bigger than us. But until next time, love y'all. Y'all take care.